So by the time you're watching this video, it will be about a month into this plant-based diet lifestyle. And since I've been talking about finding options to live a sustainable lifestyle, I thought I would document that on here. And maybe it could help you as well in case you want to hop onto this way of living, which is sustainable. You might find this sustainable, or you can switch out a few things. But this is what has helped me navigate this as I start out. So I'm going to share a few tips on how I've started and some of the effects it has had on me. And yeah. So let me give you a little background story on how and why I came to this conclusion that, okay, I want to be on a plant-based diet or whole foods, eating whole foods in general. So this is the second time I've been on a weight loss journey, like one that I intentionally set out and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, like commit to. And no, I think this is the third actually. Yeah. So back then, when I remember what I was doing in uni, I feel like it was customized to that environment, and I used whatever I had at the time with the resources I had. And then again, the second time was also customized to that, to the environment I was also living in. So I have tips from that have worked for me now, and I've carried them forward. But then when it comes to food, I found it really hard, especially here in Uganda, because I don't know, like it hit me that I was also searching for weight loss tips and foods I should be eating, and the vast majority of the content that is out there is from the Western world and how people are eating, for example, lettuce. I know it's available here, but like it's not something you will go to the nearest market here in Uganda and find. Most of our markets have, at least the one closest to me has nakati and they have sukuma. They don't have the lettuce. And if you even find it, sometimes it's a little bit on the pricier side. So I was I was searching for tips, and then all I was seeing was the Western world and how they do it. I'd never seen any, like Africa related, or if they're there, then because our settings are different in, I'm going to generalize and say in all African countries, the settings are different. You might find this crop or product is readily available in a certain country, whereas another country it is not. So it had to come down to what I could use in the moment, like customize everything to where I am, hence the sustainable, and I'm able to maintain. Yeah, because that is very key. Like when you're starting out a diet, you need to make sure all the things you need to use or you want to add to that diet are readily available, and you're not going to have hiccups of, okay, I don't have this. Even then, if you don't have this, what can you substitute? That thought was also cemented with so we were watching a documentary, my partner and I, about how plant is it plant-based protein and animal protein, how plant-based protein is better than animal protein. And I won't go deep into the whys and pros and cons. You can go and research on your own, but that cemented the idea, and we said, okay, this is what we're going to do. So one of the effects was you get hungry, and you need to look out, like you get hungry very easily because you've plant-based protein is known as, I want to say, heavy. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's filling. You feel satiated, but you know egwa mu lubuto mangu, you know. So I don't know, maybe your metabolism is up the roof, like shooting through the roof. So you feel hungry very easily. And then the other thing was, that was the one downside that we have noticed so far. So the benefits are about three or two, and one of them is we are more energized. You feel a lot of energy, and you can do stuff. Like you're not slouching and feeling what's the word? Feeling lazy within like the past few months, say 3 or 4. I'd been weighing around 79 to 80. And now I weigh somewhere between 77 point something, like 0.6. And I feel lighter. I feel good. Like, you eat food and you're just satiated. You're not overly full. That bad feeling of, oh my God, my stomach is so bloated. Like, you really feel like it made a 2 day that, ugh. And now, being that we are a month into this diet, I strive so much not to be in that state. Like, I literally am mindful when I'm eating. The moment I feel like I am satiated, that is when I stop. Because I love how I feel when I'm just satiated, I'm not going to eat further. And that's it. So tip number 1 is, why do you want to even start this diet? Like, what is your why? Define your why, keep it close to your heart. And because there are days you're going to feel like, okay, this is hard. Like anything you want to start that has not been a habit, you're going to feel like the results are taking too long to come, and maybe they're there but they're not significant. So you're like, I might as well just give up. But hang in there and think of your why, and then continue along. Researching more about this whole diet or this whole way of living before you actually begin is helpful, because you're then exposed to a lot of information that is going to steer you in the direction that you're hoping for, like for you to actually begin. Stock up on, after your research and what you're supposed to like, or you're going to have options that are available for you to consume or eat on this way of living. Stock up on them, like have your staples around the house. I can't emphasize that enough, because I literally did an experiment with myself. I was like, okay, I'm not going to plan any meals, and let me see how we behave. And of course, like, you're lazy, you're like, now get up, prepare a meal. That is all a lot of work. So, we just found ourselves walking out of the house and going to eat out, which was, first of all, expensive. Second of all, you're eating junk food. Starting out, after doing the research, and of course now I was overwhelmed with what meals I was going to prepare. But then the first week was hard, because now I had to fabricate. Like, I feel like I was beginning from the ground up, because I hadn't seen any content out there, especially like to my region, where someone was showing which meals to prepare on such a diet. Or, I kind of hate calling it a diet. It's a lifestyle and a way of living, because I feel like when I say diet, it's like I'm just doing it part time, and then once I get where I want, I'm just going to drop it all. But it's something that I want to, I intend to stick with in the long run. So starting out, whatever I prepared, whatever I came up with in the first week, I wrote down somewhere. And then the second week, I played around. I'm like, okay, so I have these 4 meals, down to a T. And I'm like, okay, these are our staples. We have to have these meals in a week. So it will help you to meal prep, your meals ahead of time, or to know which meals you're going to actually prepare throughout the week. It helps a lot. It's time saving. By the time you going to actually prepare the meal, you already know what you need, and whatever you're going to use is already in the house, or you know that you're going to fetch it, whenever, but you are already aware that this is what you're having. Find food swaps. This will eliminate the, okay, I'm depriving myself of, it will eliminate that thinking of, okay, I'm depriving myself of, say, sugar, I'm depriving myself of meat. Think of things you're going to add into your diet. Like, look at what you're adding into rather than what you're taking out of. So when you find food swaps, maybe, for example, say you love burgers. You can make burgers from beans. If you haven't watched my video on something that I intended to be a burger, but then turned out to be closer to falafel, you can go and watch it. I'll link it down below. Like-minded people are going to help you navigate this journey, and they're going to be with you all the way through there. They're going to share challenges and how, and like, comment down below if you would like to hop onto the journey, start this way of living, or you are on it. Let's connect. Yeah, let's pump ourselves up, or boost ourselves, or talk to each other. Like, what challenges are you facing? Share, compare notes. Essentially what I'm trying to say. So last but not least is be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Like, anything you're starting out, a habit, be gentle, because you don't want to be strict on yourself or very harsh, and then you're going to find like that you don't like this at all. Like, you dislike the entire thing altogether, an all or nothing person. If I can't meet my goals this week, then I'm just going to leave it. No. There is a book I'm reading, and I will not quote what he said word for word, but he says, he gave an analogy of the teacher told the kid to uproot a plant that was fairly, rooted in the ground. And the kid uprooted it. And then he told the kid to uproot another plant, which was mildly, like, semi, it was, the kid could, pluck it out of the ground. And then finally, he told the kid to uproot a huge tree, which was whose roots were already in the ground and, firm. And the kid just stood there and told the teacher that they could not. And the teacher said that the kid had just demonstrated the habits that we have in ourselves that are deeply rooted within us, that we just say, I cannot. Like, you're there saying, there is no way I can lose weight. I can't. Like, that is a done deal. Like, you I don't want to say you know it, but you've told yourself a story that you will not, or you cannot even try. Yeah. So think about that, and the next time you like weight loss or living a healthier lifestyle is not for me, think about that, and small baby steps go a long way. It is those that compound into something huge, and all those results you see people having are as a result of the daily baby steps they took. I tell that to myself every day. So throughout this month, I'm going to be sharing my journey and documenting all of that on here, sharing what has helped me, how I'm navigating it. Maybe sometimes I'm slacking and everything. So I'll be sharing all of that on here. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification button such that you're alerted whenever I post, and I'll catch you in my next video.